Hey everyone, I'm back here for another quick tip video. Um, Basically, in this situation, what I wanted to point out to everyone was that I have a couple of different options here, and to be mindful of everything that's available on the board. Sometimes 2, 3 moves into a game, a board can be fairly open for opportunities, and you always want to be interested in closing off opportunities for your opponent if you can't maximize things yourself. And I have a good rack of letters here, but I do not have the big play. Now, with these particular letters, if I had a abundance of coins, I might do a swap plus and try and change things and maybe get rid of that H, maybe the L, or maybe the M possibly, and the H and keep the L. Um, that would open up a lot of possibilities for using all my letters, especially if I were to get like an R or something like that. But the biggest word I think I have here in terms of length would probably be shamble, but that's not going to score many points because there's nothing I can exploit on that part of the board. So the biggest area here for the board in terms of point potential is going to be right here. Now, once again, even if I did a swap plus with small expectations, even if it's just got a D, R, S, whatever can be placed on the end of this, or another word that's rather similar, would open the door for a nice play. But as you can see, I can't do it, and I don't have any excess tokens laying around, so this is not an option for me. And obviously, I can't do this play because I was setting up my opponent almost assuredly. So, I know normally I would say, in a situation like this, you want to be mindful of what letters you're using and what letters you're keeping for the future. And normally, 2 E's, 1A, I'd be looking to get rid of the A and keep the 2 E's. But in this situation, because the board is dictating something else, my primary objective at this stage of the game is to not allow my opponent to crush that triple word. And do I have any moves in my back pocket for my next move? You always want to be thinking one move ahead. And so how can I accomplish this? Well, I have the S. So I put the S here. I want to close everything off. Now, I have mash, but instead I can do mesh. And what this does is you can't put an ERS right there. There might conceivably be a way you can reach triple word, but it's not going to be very statistically possible. And I'm not really even sure off the top of my head there is a possible way to do it. But you can't put an S on the end of this and hit the triple word going vertically, and it prevents a lot of things. Now, I do think MESHY is a word. Now, interestingly enough, my opponent just used a Y, so the odds of them having the second Y in the game already this early in the game is also mathematically improbable. So I'm willing to take my chances with that. If they have it, good for them. But so why would I be thinking to keep my A in this scenario when normally I would say don't do that? It's because, I already had the beginnings of my next play. Just in case, this board isn't cooperating. And, you always want to be thinking about, where am I going to go next on the board? You always want to have moves, as many moves as possible. Now, this isn't a great move, but it's a starting spot. I'm going to get more letters as well, and I already have something in case I have nothing. Now, of course, most likely, I'm going to score mesh, and really, I don't know where my opponent would go. They might even place the A under the Z on their end, or they may do a word down to the double word. But I think, nevertheless, this is my best option for now, and to close off this, to seal off this play, have a move that I'm building towards for the next play. And of course, they may also do something for me without realizing it. And, I see that an H would go there conveniently. And, there's some things to think about with this move, of course. But I think I'm happiest with this move because it does shut off big play potential. And, of course, they could hit the double word with the Z and score. Now, I think I could actually do it myself. Yeah, I can score 30 right there. But if I do this play, I'm leaving this, I'm leaving that. Defensively, that's a horrible decision. So I'm not a fan of that play at all. So I think this is the best compromise. And I'm going to get 4 more tiles. The H fits there beautifully, of course. My opponent might even go there. But we can live with that. 2 S's have already been used. So there's going to be 3 left. And so if I get off a play right here, if I do not get like the C or the V or something that is defensive. Now the V is not a pure defensive play because you can't put a U under it. But mathematically speaking, the V is still a very good defensive letter to put in a spot where you can go underneath it, but it's not going to leave a whole lot of opportunity. There's not going to be a whole lot of words that are just going to fit. So V is still a very fine letter to use to stick out there in the open as a defensive mechanism. It still serves a very strong purpose. Now, if you're late in the game and there are U's left and, there's issues with where you're putting the V, then of course, then I would say something entirely different. But, let's go ahead and do this play and see exactly what I get. I got a blank. And I have ing potential. And hey everyone, so I wanted to make a continuation of the video that I made previously, or the video that's going to precede this, regarding how you had the, in this instance, I had the foresight to cling to an A for the very move my opponent just did, and they did the very thing that I was particularly concerned about doing myself. And this is what I'm talking about. My opponent scored 20 points and they left an H right here. This is not a defensive tile. This is probably one of the worst tiles you can put there. A lot of words in VE, even ZE. Obviously Z is not going to be possible in this instance, but lots of words end in E. And so the benefit of scoring 20 points and the risk of allowing your opponent to score many, many more, it's not worth it. And for me, I was thinking about putting a G there possibly if I had nowhere else to go. But thankfully I don't have to worry about that situation because my opponent has already made things incredibly easy for me. I'm obviously going to save that S. Ironically enough, my opponent also had an H, which could have very easily gone right there and been a good defensive play. But as you can see, this is a situation where playing off that A, or playing off that Z with the A, was not a very smart choice. And I continue to try and build up to possibly using my letters. I still have 4 vowels. I do have arousing, it looks like. AROUSING. And just like that, can really start to potentially open this game up. Of course, also a Y does go here, and I created that. Maybe I can get that Y. Maybe I can't, but you know, this this is a good start to the game for me. So anyway, that'll conclude this tip video. Hope you liked it. Please like, share, subscribe, and thank you. Hey everyone, I just wanted to add in something briefly before I post this video. I was briefly going over something, and then I think somehow it got left out when I finished the whole thing. So in this spot, I was talking about, preserving the A for the next move, so I would have something potential. I think also it would have gone well where the BI is, because on either side of that, well, actually only on the left side would AL fit. But these were two spots where you could think ahead to potentially a next move that would score like 20, 25 points. But I was thinking about putting the G there and doing gal, because G is a letter you can lead out with. It's a letter you can lead out with that's pretty good defensively when you're thinking about words that could fit underneath the G. And in this instance, it would be a word that probably ends in an O or possibly an I. Think of the word fungi, bingo, words like that, that are 5 letters that would, connect from the triple word to just one tile right of the triple letter and fit perfectly right there. So a G is, a pretty good defensive letter to lead with when you're being mindful of things that can fit underneath it. But I think the best defensive letter, obviously, that you can lead off with is a C. After that would be the V, just because there's so few words that end in U or end in US or things like that. There's just not going to be a lot of words that'll fit. And then I really think that G is probably the third best defensive letter. It's still not very good because an I and an O go underneath it, but an E and an A do not, nor does a U for that matter, or a Y. But I think that B is awful. H, what my opponent was used in this situation, which was not worth it at all, was awful. It was an awful decision and is an awful letter to lead out in a situation like that. It's not worth doing it. You just may as well go somewhere else. Wait for your opponent to go there, because they might open it up for you. J is now a really bad letter because A, E, O all go underneath J. K, an A goes under it, I goes under it, O goes under it. L, no E goes under it, but everything else does, except for U. M is awful, N is awful, P is awful, PU are not words, but E, anything where E goes under it is going to be the worst of your selection. So I really think that leading out with a consonant as a semi-defensive move, C is obviously going to be is the only ideal play. But after that, I would think V is the second best, and then probably G. And then after that, I'm not so sure there is anything that good. Not many words start in X. You can make argument for X, I guess, but not many words start with X, so that's not really even anything to consider. But I really think that the 3 best defensive tiles in this situation would be C, V, and then G. Am I forgetting something? Let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. I don't think so. No. I'm kind of leaving the major consonants out of this discussion because there's only one of each in every game. But J is bad now anyway. And Z, obviously an A goes under it. So I guess Z would be the next best because there's nothing else that goes underneath it. But but yeah, I just wanted to make that point. And it's all about what are you leaving your opponent, mathematically speaking. How many words can feasibly end in a U or I or something like that. Um, so it's just something to think about, and that's the point I wanted to make. Thank you. And I also just went ahead and included just the rest of the moves for this game without any context or without any uh, rationale, just showing the rest of the moves for this game very quickly so you can see how the game finished up. And so thank you for watching, and please like, share, subscribe. Thank you.